Welcome. In this documentary, we will talk about what democracy is, its function, the importance, and as a subtopic, the democratic principles in Mexico. We choose this topic because we think that democracy is a very important concept and people should know the importance of it. And we choose the subtopic since we live in Mexico and we believe that it's important that you know the democratic principles.
First, it is important to know what democracy is. Democracy is a government by the people, a form of government in which the supreme power is vested in the people and exercised directly by them or by their elected agents.
Democracy is a form of state organization in which collective decisions are chosen by the people through direct or indirect participation mechanisms that confer legitimacy on their representatives.
The existence of a full democracy requires much more than the holding of free and authentic elections. Granting everyone the right to vote under conditions of political equality is not enough for a given political system to be considered democratic.
This is a condition that can only be achieved through respect for the fundamental rights of governed and consequently the rule of law. Similarly, it is closely related to the search of great social equality and the effective fight against overcoming poverty.
Democracy goes beyond the electoral perspective. It is understood as a system that promotes and allows unrestricted respect for the rights and freedoms of people, the creation of equal opportunities for all, the rule of law, the formation of values, as equality, tolerance, and mutual respect for differences, which are the basic foundation of peaceful social relations.
The United States and Nigeria are examples of presidential democracies. The executive branch includes the president and his cabinet. Along with the judiciary and legislature, the three branches of government work to maintain checks and balances. But the president has the final say. Now let's talk about democracy in Mexico. One of the most significant changes was experienced in July 2000 with the alternation in political power in a peaceful and orderly manner, which was the product of a process of gradual institutional change that came about due to successive constitutional reforms that consolidate the electoral institutions and procedures.
We will talk about some concepts that are realized with the democratic principles of Mexico.
Individual freedom is the constitutive value of the human person as such, the foundation of his duties and rights, according to which each one can decide autonomously on the essential questions of his life, becoming responsible before society for the consequences of his decisions and from results.
Everyone has the right of freedom of peaceful assembly and freedom of association, including the right to found with others trade unions and to join them for defense or their interest. In modern and democratic societies, political parties play a series of relevant functions for society and the state. Equality before the law, equality under the law, equality before the eye of the law, or legal equality is a principle that recognizes that all people should be treated in the same way by the law.
Political alternation is the change of substitution of a ruling group or political party in a peaceful manner and in accordance with electoral rules be another which comes from a political party that are the one that governs, and this is the product of an electoral process in which candidates compete and the people exercise their right to vote in democracy teams.
Every individual has the right to freedom of opinion and expression. This right includes the right not to be disturbed because of their opinions, to investigate and receive information and opinions, and to disseminate them without limitations of borders by any means of expression.
Representative democracy, also called indirect democracy, is one where citizens exercise political power through their representatives elected by vote in free and periodic elections. Is the original model of democracy practiced by the Athenians in ancient times. It is said that there is a direct or pure democracy when the citizens themselves, without the intermediation of representatives, participate directly in making political decisions.
Participatory democracy is a model of political organization that aims to give citizens a greater, more active, and more directly capacity to interview and influence public decision making through mechanism and addition to voting.
According to Cielo News, Mexico is a presidential federal republic made up of 31 states and a federal district. It has three levels of government: federal or nation, states, and the federal district, and municipal. This report focuses particularly on the federal government, but when necessary takes into consideration the other two subnational tiers of government.
Support democratic elections and strengthen participatory democracy, consistent with human rights. Enhance democratic governance and increase effective political participation for all, especially groups that have been historically disadvantaged or that face political, cultural, or socioeconomic barriers.
How democratic is our country and its government? Or, in the case of this study, to what extent is Mexico a democracy?
According to an article of INE, to answer these questions, the team conducting the audit followed a methodology developed by the International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance.
This methodology puts forward two basic democratic principles: popular control over public decision making and decision makers, and equality among citizens in the exercise of that control. Insofar as these principles are embodied in governing arrangements, the latter can be considered democratic.
Implement these principles, a set of mediating values is instrumental. There are citizen participation, authorization, representativeness, accountability, transparency, responsiveness, and solidarity. It is from these values that the institution of representative government derive their democratic character, and it's these values that can be used in turn to assist how democratically they work in practice. Thanks for your attention.